I'm Ann Delisi from WDET. We're here live at Rustbelt Studio for another WDET session. And this time it's with Ghost Note. And here with me is Sput and Nate from Ghost Note. Thanks for being here, you guys.
Thank you for having us.
This is really great to have you here. So one of the things that I saw on YouTube was the two of you having a percussion conversation. It was a fascinating thing to watch. And I wondered how that came about and what it is like to be two percussionists working together in a band.
It's great.
Yeah, our history goes back to years ago with Snarky Puppy.
Right.
I started out as a co-producer / I guess keyboard player at first, to the Bring Us to Bright project, and I played drums like as teasers to a couple of songs. One is the song I wrote on, and it was kind of teasing to me becoming a drummer, because I think the drummer at the time moved away to Japan or something like that. Something happened where I ended up being the drummer of the band, and as a keyboard player, I kind of knew the music, but as a drummer, I hadn't had any practice in it, and this guy was my lifeline. He was my lifesaver in those first couple weeks of me trying to play drums and figure out how to translate, from keyboard to being like a drummer now, and transition. But I started playing backbeat a lot, so I just started putting the backbeat to a lot of stuff just to keep it safe, and it kind of essentially changed the sound of the band, I think. And then just because he was so versed in all of the arrangements and stuff, he would take the lead a lot. I don't even think he realized he was doing this, but he was just like helping me out and was like taking the lead and playing, and it helped me, learn the music a little bit better. But then it also became our style of play, where it was like one drummer with 4 arms. It was an extended drummer as far as I saw it. And all of my drummer friends was coming to the show, and they were giving me credit for all of this drums that they was hearing. And I was like, no, next time watch, it was him. And then they come back and see us again, and they'd be like, oh, wow, okay, we get it. And so it just became our thing, and we started taking solos in that band. We took them together, and people kind of thought we were writing songs or playing compositions that were created already, and we were just making it up on the spot because we've been playing it together for so long. We're able to finish each other's sentences and stuff like that. So it just became a thing. And then one fan asked us one time, what song was that you were playing? And we just joked around and was like, it's going to be on our next record. And
that's how it started.
Then he started creating a master plan to do a record of beats, and we manifested it and did that, and we were very proud because we were able to, overdub ourselves and clone ourselves in the studio. We went crazy, we went mad, and then the record comes out, and then people want us to perform it live, and we was like, oh shit. We was like, it's just 2 of us. I don't know. So we had to get a band, and that started the configuration. I mean, that started what you see here today, because we just kept adding people, and the band took had a couple transitions and a couple times where we had to reconfigure and reconstruct what the sound was, and it's been a happy journey because now we're very excited about what we're presenting today.
That's a lot to go through to keep a band together for that long.
Yeah.
And to have sort of a rotating cast. Have people come to you wanting to be in your band and wanting to work with you guys? Or are you always looking for somebody, looking for other players to join you guys?
I mean, I don't know if we ever were looking for people. I think that's the interesting thing is, like Sput said, it's like the transitions and the journey to where it is now. It's pretty natural. I mean, we started with a bass player and one saxophonist that we knew for a while, and that we just thought they were the right sound for the band. And then someone would have like, oh, I got to go to Paisley Park and play a Prince thing. And so we'd be like, well, we're not going to stop you from doing that. And so someone else would come fill in for them, and then they would play the gig so well or bring their own sound to it that Sput and I were like, well, maybe 2 horns is better. Now when it's like a horn section, because there'd always be like an overlap when someone would come in to sub for someone else, and with guitar, we met Peter, our guitar player, who's not here today with us. It's another guitar player, but it's kind of, that's just how it happens. He was in the opening band before playing, like before a show we did in Oregon. And it was like, all right.
We thought it was pretty funky.
Yeah, we're like, you want to sit in?
Hey, you want to come?
And then we stole him.
But
we have a habit of doing that. I think the music in this band is it's like it's always on a journey. Just when we think we got the arrangement, this guy over here comes to tour and he's like, all right, here's the new arrangement, and turns the song on its head. But it keeps it fun and it keeps it exciting on stage. And I think that's what the fans like.
Yeah, but ultimately it's like family. This is a family. It's more of a close knit. It's a little slightly different than a rotating cast. The familiar rotating cast of Snarky. You know, they really are rotating, but we kind of got a tight knit of people. You know, there's a few chairs that gets, you know, because our bass player that's played with us for years is now embarking upon his own career, Mono Neon, and some of the guys play in his band as well, and so we try to work together on how we use that. So the guy that's subbing for Peter actually plays in Mono's band, so it's kind of a cool little family thing that we have going on, and it's we love it.
So your music feels improvisational, but I know that it's not. Like, you guys know what you're going to play. You know these songs. But what does it happen every night when you're on stage? And then when it came time to go in the studio to actually lay these things down and record, talk about those two different things, especially for a band like this.
I think in the studio, he probably can elaborate on this, but I think the studio versions of the song is probably the only time they're actually a song. Every other time we play them, they're creative versions, just like we're reinventing the songs every time we play them. The melodies pretty much stay the same, but we try the harmonic structure of the songs, we try to have an open canvas of what happens. Sometimes a mistake may become the direction we go. But we just always try to be open and listen to each other, see what's going on, to try to keep it fresh and try to see how we can just keep just reinventing the song and keep giving it more life and more life. So,
and also, like, I think some of the compositions that there's a different version on the studio because it communicates different when you're, you know, in the privacy of your home, listening on a record player or in your, you know, your special headphones. Certain things with like layering each other, it's a different approach. So when we get to the live setting of playing the music, I mean, we're like greatly influenced by some amazing funk legends and musicians, and like mainly like Prince. When he would take his show on the road, those arrangements were wild and so different from the record. Yeah. And so that is like really a big inspiration because the level of energy that you can do, and when the fan base is familiar with the song because they've listened to the record, but now here we are at the live show and there's all these, you know, fireworks happening essentially musically. It makes it exciting for us and for the fans.
And I mean, it's kind of like a cross between Prince and James Brown, because with Prince, you know, he was the guy that would always switch up the set, you know, but with James Brown, he was the guy that was always doing stuff on the spot, like calling hits, and so it's kind of a cross between those two things. And to be in this band, you got to really be on top of it. You got to be able to pay attention, be able to play your part, be able to hear what's going on, be able to be very versatile, and be able to respond quickly. And that's the fun part about it. But yeah, these songs kind of just go from, they morph, and they're always being in, you know, becoming new versions of the songs, you know.
So the song you're going to play for us now, this is kind of two songs together. And how did these two songs become kind of joined together?
Well, it's a recent thing, actually.
Yeah. On the record, they don't come behind it. Yeah.
You know, again, like the playlisting of song order and stuff. And then when you do a live show, it's like, well, how do we do this? And these two just kind of ended up being next to each other. And it worked out because our keyboard player, the second part of this medley of songs, the second song in this medley features him. And the first song ends with, on the record, with like keyboards and strings. Mm-hmm. We don't have strings. So he's doing double duty and he only has 2 arms. And on this tour, he only has 2 boards.
Yeah, he's freaking nature, man.
So he,
Dominique,
you know, with 5 boards, maybe these wouldn't segue together because he could trigger some other things to make it feel complete. But so it just so happened when in rehearsal he did it, and it was like, well, that works. Let's just put those back to back.
He kind of ends the first song. The first song is called "Move with a Purpose." It was written by the alto sax player Jonathan Mones and myself, and it's like our soundtrack. Everybody loves it it sounds like it could be in a soundtrack of a movie or a show or something. And at the end of it, it's like me and Nate. It's like a slight drum groove solo, and it kind of fades out into this
outer space
type
spaceship landing.
And synesthesia, synesthesia is how you say it, I think. And it starts sounding like a spaceship. So it was perfect to come out of that going into the song that sounds like a spaceship. And Dominique is very creative in the way that he does it.
Yeah.
And then it gives us a chance to like kick off the second song, which is like a groove. And it's smooth. It's like a smooth, funky groove. So, yeah.
All right. How about you guys do it?
Yeah.
All right.
Your love's my favorite color. And touch me once again. My name on your lips smells like my favorite scent. Breathing in your body once again. I'm in love with the sensations, the real things in a station. It's outrageous. It's so audacious. I'm in love with the sensation. It's the real things in a station. I'm in love with the sensation.
We're here at Rustbelt with Ghost Note, sounding amazing. You guys really know how to do it. I can't wait to see you guys perform live.
Thank you.
And the fact that you're going to be performing as part of the Detroit Jazz Festival is really going to be something special for Detroit. How do you feel about being here in the Motor City?
Oh, I love Detroit.
Yeah, we got a lot of history here. This place is still special, and it's overwhelming still to come here, to be able to come here and play. We used to play. I think we got to start playing in this city, playing at a place called
Cliff Bells.
Cliff Bells,
Bells,
Yeah,
right.
legendary
Absolutely.
Cliff Bells.
Yeah, the legendary Cliff Bells. And I remember the first time we brought our band here, and we got a standing ovation. I mean, like, it was nobody really. They just knew us from Snarky, so we was telling the world that we had a new band, and people knew us from Snarky and just came because of that. And it was just dope to how they received us, and not even knowing what they were going to get. And ever since, coming here has just been a blast. So doing the Jazz Fest is really like the icing on the cake, because we still see this place as very iconic, and just as soon as you breathe the air, you still get this sense of, wow, this is Motown.
Yeah.
This is where all that stuff came from. So it's really an honor.
Plus, George Clinton has such an association with Detroit, which I would imagine George Clinton's had a little influence on you.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
because it's like next door, right? He's in Cincinnati, right?
He
Or
lives in
Cleveland.
Florida now, but yeah.
But that's
back in the day, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, George Clinton is very much an influence of us too, if you can hear it. But yeah, just, I mean, like, in general, especially for me, like, a connection. I have so many connections to some of the Funk Brothers, some of the writers, the prolific writers of Motown. And, my cousin plays drums for Stevie Wonder. It's just a lot. All of us know people like that worked with some people that may have played in the Motown situations and stuff, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, you guys fit in right. You sound like you could have come from Detroit, honestly. You guys sound like, actually, we'll just start telling people that you're from here.
We study the music, so it's definitely embedded within us, with our studies,
Well, you do have a Motown cover to play for us, from what
It's
I've been
more-
told.
It's more of a tribute.
It's with the
It's more of a
tribute.
tribute.
To-
It's definitely
to
a
James
reimagined
Brown.
version, right?
Hey, but the
It
way it was
sounds so good.
written, it fools some people. They're like, is that a James Brown song?
So we wrote a song during the pandemic. We wrote a song called Spunky, and it's featured on a record soundtrack called The Truth to Power Project. And it features like Leon Bridges and a whole lot of Black Pumas and a whole lot of other artists, and we were featured as a band on that record, and so that was the song. But it was an instrumental song, so, and when we perform it, we like to perform it live, but we have a singer, so the cool thing that we like to do is like infuse like the vocals with the music, with the instrumentation. And so what we do, the best way to do that when we have music that hasn't been written with lyrics, is to tribute music that's already out there. And why not? We in Detroit. Why not? Why not do that one?
Let Mackenzie channel some
Yeah.
some Motown vibes.
So yeah, we're gonna tribute the Temptations and Norman Whitfield. With this one, Papa Was a Rolling Stone.
Perfect.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
it was the 3rd of September. Yeah. That day I'll always remember. That was the day that my daddy died. You know what? I never got a chance to meet him. Never heard nothing but bad things about him. Mama, I'm depending on you to tell me the truth. Mama hung her head and said, my papa was a Rolling Stone. Yes, he was. Wherever he laid his head was his home. When he died, all he left us was alone. Heard Papa never worked a day in his life. Even heard some people say Papa had 3 outside children and another wife, and that ain't right. Heard Papa used to do some stuff on all the time, was stealing in the stealing in the Lord. Oh, my mama said Papa was a Rolling Stone. Yes, he was, yes, he was. Wherever he laid his head was his home. And when he died, all he left us was alone. Papa was a Rolling Stone. Yes, he was. Wherever he laid his head was his home. When he died, all he left us was alone. Play your horn.
Shout out to Motown.
You did Motown proud, you guys. That was pretty great. That was really great. Thank you for spending time with us. You guys are really amazing to watch and to hear, and we'll just tell everybody how awesome you are. And hopefully you'll come back. Keep coming back to the Motor City.
Oh, man. Anytime you guys will have us, we come back.
Absolutely.
You got an open invitation. Thanks so much, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.